Game of Thrones is a medieval times TV series, and it's about a civil war that is pretty much divided into like three major points in the over 4 years, which is a lot of seasons in Game of Thrones. There's the first series, which is the battle of just like the people and of the lords and the Westeros, the fictional kingdom that Game of Thrones is the setting of. The setting of Game of Thrones is Westeros. The second major plot being the rise of Daenerys Targaryen, a hard name to say. She's a major female character, which caused a lot of ripples in the way they did things in the medieval times. And then the third part of the plot being what's happening now, and that is the rise of the Night King, the scary ass guy, and no one really knows what's happening now. But there are three big social justice lenses that are shown in this TV series, one of which being the class. You see a lot of the kings and queens like all over the place, and you don't get a lot of view from the lower classes, which, I mean, you don't really want to see those views, which kind of implies with the class. You get to see you see a lot of the rankings and a lot of the people go up and down through class, which I think the director or author of Game of Thrones did intentionally to coincide with reality on the way the class system works just in real life in general. And like you see here, like these people are on horses, and a bunch of people had to walk around. Back in the day, horses wasn't a necessity; it was a luxury. Gender is another gap that's really prevalent, a social issue that's really prevalent in the series Game of Thrones. Women in power are very few and far in between, but they all tend to take on very serious roles, and I think that's the writer or author of Game of Thrones' way of kind of like putting a female character more in charge, like putting her up in standards of the men and showing that like they do hang up there. That's his way of bridging the gap a little bit, even though back then it was a very large one and very prevalent. Something you'll see throughout all of the episodes of just women and children never in very high standards of living. But there's always a lot of men that are always well dressed and live a higher class of living, or more royal class of living, or higher paying jobs at the time. Religion is another social issue that's very prevalent in the series. You see a lot of different people and different races and groups of people that practice all different kinds of religions. Anything from the pagan gods to Christianity is all over this series from season 1 to the newest series, season 8. There's a lot of religions just like in reality. I think that's something the author did on purpose. I think in the end, where the series is left off now, most of the groups drop their religion and start fighting for the greater good of the people, which I think maybe that could have been the author saying something towards reality, that there's a greater good of the people when you just set other things aside.